the Cupra Born. Is this Cupra's answer to an electric Golf GTI? Hi and welcome back to Joe Talks Cars and welcome to another video. I'm here today with Cupra UK to drive their latest Born. This is an absolutely stunning car and I've been very lucky to come along and drive it today. This is their latest version, the V3. It features a 77 kilowatt hour battery, which is the largest battery pack that you can get on a Cupra Born, but it also has the most performance, so 230 PS. And in a car this size, it should make for a fun drive, which is so important because the way this thing looks, you'd be mistaken for thinking this is a hot hatch. So let's see if this car lives up to that hype, or is it writing checks it can't cash? In this video, I'm going to talk you around the practicality, the looks, the build quality, the infotainment, the performance, most importantly, the fun, because that is what a hot hatch is all about. If we're going to talk about looks straight away, the main differences between this and an ID3 is this front section, and it looks absolutely incredible. I love the way it says Cupra down the middle, and these sort of, I don't know, like lower splitter kind of area. It does remind me a bit of a Lamborghini. The badge takes front and center in this copper color, and it looks absolutely wonderful. Cupra is a very exciting brand at the moment. So Cupra used to be part of Seat, used to be their sports division. It's got a lot of racing pedigree, and they've branched out and created their own brand. And I think it is cool for it. Most people won't even recognize this badge because it's so new. And in my opinion, that design in this copper styling makes it one of the coolest car brands currently on the market. Another area of styling which I think is particularly successful on the Cupra Born versus the ID3 is this back end. The ID3 is very similar to this, but this makes some slight changes which I think work so well. It's got this huge spoiler. I mean, it's massive. It's more of an awning rather than a spoiler. It's huge, and it makes the back of the car look really sloped, really sporty. It makes it look like it's ready to pounce. It's got this really lovely light cluster, and it stretches the full length of the boot lid. And I don't think the camera will be doing this justice, but there's some really nice sculpture in there. This light bar really does stick out and it scoops right under there, and I think the back of this car looks absolutely fabulous. Again, you've got the bronze Cupra branding and the all-important logo on carbon fibre. Some people might not like this, but I really do like it. If you were in any doubt that this car was not a hot hatch, there's a few things on it which scream hot hatch to me. That big wing, the huge wheels, but most importantly, a fake diffuser. What screams hot hatch more than a fake diffuser? I don't think a lot does. In body colour, it looks really cool, and it's separated by like an anthracite insert in the bumper, and the whole back of the car just looks so purposeful. The only thing I'd probably want rid of is the rear wiper. But other than that, I think it looks absolutely stunning. You don't even miss the exhaust. Like, the back of it just looks cool. Another area of the car which I think separates it quite massively from its ID3 counterpart are these wheels. These are 20-inch 215 section tyres. They are a huge wheel. They're an inch bigger than what you get on my Porsche, and the wheel design I'm a huge fan of. It's a shame though that there's a lot of plastic going on. It'll be interesting to see how it rides on these 20-inch wheels, because usually cars with bigger wheels tend to have a little bit of a bumpy ride, so it'll be really interesting to test this car out and see if these things affect the ride quality. The interior is another place I think the Cupra Born exceeds over its ID3 counterpart. Not only is the build a lot better in here, the plastics feel really strong, really sturdy, just by adding in these copper accents and the sort of patterned effect that you get on some of the plastics. It looks really stunning in here. The seats are absolutely gorgeous. Through the fabric you can see, again, more copper. And I just think it's all very nicely thought out. One feature I absolutely love about this car is the steering wheel. It's of course got a flat bottom, but it takes some of the grey accents from the outside of the car onto the bottom of the steering wheel, and you've also got two buttons. One is your drive mode, and the other one is the Cupra mode. So I look forward to pressing that when we're out on the road and seeing what that brings, because I think it's going to be quite fun. So the options fitted to this car, amazingly, is it's got fully electric adjustable seats. It's got massage function on the seats, which is really nice. It's got a dark headliner just like my GTI, and honestly, it does feel like a GTI, and that really, really excites me. I will be looking to replace my Golf GTI within the next year, and I do genuinely believe, after sitting in this and having a look around the car, that if this stacks up to how it looks, it's going to be amazing. It's definitely going to be a contender to being replaced with. So most Cupra Born reviews will all be about the EV side of things, the range, what it's like to live with an electric car. But that's not my intention with this review. This review was to find out whether this car is a true hot hatch. I'm not bothered about the range. I'm not bothered about how much range it uses or its regen or anything like that. I just want to find out what this thing is like when you show it a few corners. So in this review, I'm going to take it round some really, really nice roads round here in Oxfordshire and find out if it is a true hot hatch, if it answers the question that we've all been asking. Can an EV be fun? Are we going to miss our Golf GTI when they eventually change over to electric? So the main thing with a hot hatch is how fun it is to drive, and this thing is really great fun. That's helped along by its 50-50 weight distribution, which is unusual in a hot hatch. Conventional hot hatches with petrol engines have got a big lump of steel at the front, they've got a big heavy gearbox, and then more or less nothing from that point backwards. It's just empty space. This thing, with it being electric, means you've got your electric motors powering the rear wheels, so this thing is rear wheel drive, but it's also got all the batteries low down, which gives it a really, really good low centre of gravity. So although the car weighs nearly 2 tons, with its low centre of gravity, it feels like it handles really sharply. It corners smoothly, flat, and you feel like you've got really good control even through high-speed, twisty sections. It certainly does have a hot hatch feel about it. In terms of its performance, well, it's not going to excite you like a normal hot hatch would, and it's certainly not going to throw you back in your seat like a Tesla or an E Tron. But it's got plenty of power. It's got what I would consider to be enough. This car is running 230 PS, so it's got a decent amount of power. And even though it does weigh 1.9 tons, the way that electric cars deploy their power to the road, which is instant torque, instant power from zero, means it feels a lot quicker than it suggests on paper. 0 to 60 comes in 6.7 seconds, and you can't really say that's a slow car. It's not what we'd consider to be fast, but it's okay. It's fairly good. Does it feel as engaging to drive as some of the hot hatches I've driven in the past? Well, absolutely. The car, because it handles so nicely and its power's available so low down, it does give you a sense of speed. And that's what you get from a hot hatch. Sometimes hot hatches is more about the noise they make and the feeling you get for them rather than the raw pace. And that's the same with this. You're never going to break any world records, you're never going to beat any Teslas off the line or set any lap records at the Nürburgring. But what you are going to get is a little bit of driver engagement and fun that I think you don't really get from any other EV. A lot of people complain about the gear selector, whatever you want to call it, in the top right of the dials and say it's awkward to use. I've not found that awkward to use at all. It's quite pleasant, it's easy to use, there's not really a lot to it. The only thing I would say is the positioning of it is slightly odd. So when you come up to a stop and you go to turn it, you have to look round the steering wheel to actually see what to do with it. Obviously when you get used to the car that's not going to become a problem, but I can't see that, so you have to look round the steering wheel to decide how to do it. The problem is it also blocks the headlight switches. So although this car has got auto headlights, it will put them on for you. Sometimes you need to put them on. But the gear selector blocks that, but the steering wheel blocks the gear selector. So I would say that's a slight ergonomic issue and something that they should maybe iron out. Maybe go for a more conventional switch like you get in every other Audi VW product. It would be a lot nicer. The other things I would say about the interior, which I do not like, haptic controls. I've always hated touchscreen controls in cars. One big screen's fine, but when you start doing it with the climate control buttons and things like that, it's awful. And the amount of times during filming of this video I have caught the volume controls for the radio is just ridiculous. My hands just rest there and the haptic controls and the touchscreen are just getting caught. I mean, there's about, I don't know how many buttons, about 15 buttons all over this, so you could do any manner of things by accident. So I think that's a bit of an issue. So I hope you've been enjoying this slightly different content on my channel lately. I've been invited to a lot of these press days and it's been really, really exciting to get out in all different types of cars and maybe not just focus on Porsches. Obviously Porsches are going to be the main focus of my channel, but this has been really nice to have a go in. And Audi have been very kind and inviting me to some of theirs as well. So there's going to be so much more content coming to the channel over the next few weeks. You're all going to be really, really surprised. I reckon I could drive this a long, long way and be relaxed when I got to my destination. But I do feel that if you took this up into the north of Scotland, where we've got some lovely twisty roads, you're going to have fun as well. So in terms of it being a hot hatch, I would say it ticks every single box for me. The way it looks, the way it performs, it's plenty of power. It's not exciting, but it's plenty of power for these roads. And also the fun. It does have an element of fun. My Golf GTI, we drive it up to Scotland, you sit on the motorway and it's boring. You get to the twisty bits and it comes alive, and I do feel that this does exactly the same. And I cannot fault it for that. I've absolutely loved having the car for the last few hours. It's been great fun to drive around on the roads round here near Oxfordshire. And we've been able to exploit it on all different types of roads, whether that be twisty or dual carriageways and everything, and really put it through its paces. And it's performed so well in every situation. I just want to take the car home, and that doesn't often happen with cars. I often drive cars for reviews or whatever, and I'm not sad to give them back. This one, I would take it. I am going to be sad to hand this car back, and I think that is a big compliment to pay to this car, because I am a true petrolhead through and through. I love internal combustion, I love the noise and the smell and the power you get from it. But every time I drive an electric car, I'm getting more and more converted. And that says all you need to know, because I love petrol cars. I have a Porsche, a 3.4 litre Porsche, and yet I'm driving a little reasonably priced electric car, and I want to take it home. I really, really like this car. I think Cupra's done an amazing job with it, and I'm really excited to see what the future holds. And I think Cupra are at the forefront of that. They're at the forefront of what car manufacturers should be doing to their electric cars. I've had an absolutely wonderful day here with Cupra UK, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and comment below. I'll see you next time. Bye.